Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
My salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
To His holy prophet.
To His holy prophet.
No withdrawal.
No withdrawal.
Islam.
Islam.
What's your question?
I'm also trying to move over, so
You can ask your first question.
I'm just happy this thing is broken now.
I'm hearing y'all. Yeah, man. Oh, one thing we could touch on this too. The writs of discovery, and based on your walking the tightrope. Yeah, your walk since you walk the tightrope. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Talk about what, brother?
With sister's letter that she got. Yeah.
Yeah, she showed me.
They showed me, sent me another one,
No.
confirming the confirmation. This is all the info they sent me back that I sent them.
Right.
They send me copies of everything.
Okay.
And then everything I sent them, they send a copy of it, even copied the envelope.
So just outline what you sent so we can put everything on the record to put this up.
This is also how I
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so they sent you a copy of the envelope that you sent to them. The envelope that you sent to them.
Yeah, what I sent to them, they sent me a copy of everything, including the outside of the envelope. So I was like, it's a good thing I set it up right, because they're making copies of that too. Right.
Okay, so just outline what you sent, and you know what the procedure, process, or whatever was, and then read the letter they sent you. Not the other guys, not the guys who are trying to extort, just the official letter.
The last one, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, well, they already sent the confirmation letter. So I guess I just started with they were, I guess, kind of making an attempt to extort, telling me I had a request for me to file taxes. And they said, let me see the language that's on it. Because it says that I must file, and it's saying it also, but it says it's a request.
Right.
I'm here just explaining this day. It's a request for tax return, and then it tells me what day I must respond by.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so from there, you know, I did the written discovery. Looked at a couple of examples. You sent me some. I went over there. I went to RV Day Publications, and you know, just kind of give an example of the setup of the whole thing. And then on top of that, from some things that I already read, because I couldn't just copy word for word, because it had to still apply to my situation.
Right.
So I had to base it on some things I had studied also. So that's how I formulated the written discovery. Okay. And then from there, of course, they didn't respond. I did the certified mail. So we can have a track, and then I did I put 7 different people on notice, including the international community, seeing that we are international, this is an international issue. Put them on notice just in case. Right. United Nations.
Did you do that via email?
No, all through the postal service. Okay. And then I just did all certified, and with the United Nations, I had to do it registered. Right. Because they don't do certified. They don't do certified, right? So anyway, I did that. They didn't respond. So next, I had to do the notice of default judgment. I did the notice of default judgment. They, you know, and then I got after the fact, probably, let me see, the deadline was, if I'm not mistaken, it was, let me see. I was 10 days from the receipt of that letter. Anyway, they were way past the deadline, put it like that. And that's when I started getting stuff in the mail. And make a long story short, with that mail thing, I got a confirmation letter. It says confirmation letter, and it says, thank you for responding to our request that you filed a 2009 California tax return. Based on the information you provided, we will take no further action at this time. However, if you made any estimated tax payments or had any state income tax withheld, you must file a return to claim these credits. That's the first confirmation letter. Then the confirmation letter to the confirmation letter is just saying that our records show we issued you a request for tax return, and it has a date. It said our records also indicate the request was canceled based on the information you provided and confirmation letter dated, you know, blah, blah, blah. It says that is basically advising that the franchise tax board will take no further action at this time. I have enclosed a copy of the confirmation letter for your convenience. Anyway, only thing I provided them was my nationality and law. Nothing else was needed to be provided. I didn't make any contracts with them.
No.
And they don't have jurisdiction in the first place, huh?
No. UCC1, nothing like that?
No packages or nothing like that. I didn't have to pay $1,000 to anybody. You know, it was all free.
It wasn't free.
It didn't cost any fee.
It didn't cost any fee.
Yeah.
Just put in your energy.
Right.
I didn't have to pole dance with nobody.
They might enjoy that, sis.
That's good. It's love. It's love.
So
that's what it's about right there. You know what I mean?
That's it.
And how? Right. Exactly. Confirmation letter.
I was gonna when I figure out how to scan it, I'm gonna scan it for you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've never done it before. I haven't actually
done that before.
Well,
don't you get it? Good job.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
And also, I made sure when I was writing it, I made sure that I was my energy was good.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it while I was irritated or anything like that. If I felt a little irritation or whatever, because we all go through stuff or whatever.
Right.
I made sure I didn't do anything with my writ when I was feeling like that.
Right.
I was conscious not to do that.
That's good.
That's the science.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yep, that's what all the people that say, Brother Kudjo don't do nothing for anybody. Yep. We Kudjo students, products of the Kudjo.
It's love.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and it wasn't your mic, it was your speaker that turned down a bit. Because I'm hearing myself. Now turn your speaker down. Yeah.
Is that any better?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all free.
For real. Right, so us exercising our birthrights is supposed to be that easy regardless of what we're dealing with. Like, it's supposed to be simple just like that. Send them the stuff, they don't reply, send them the stuff, they send you something saying we're not pursuing anything further, and then that's that, and you go about your business. Right?
Did you try your volume also?
Down?
Yeah, I don't know if it's okay on your end, it's fine over here.
Yeah, it's alright. Yeah. So let's just do a basic, just so that
and when you can fit it in a dead pledge. Talk about it. We go over that a little bit.
okay.
But that's not just for Moorish. Dead pledge as far as signs stuff. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just for Moorish. I'm talking about just period.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I didn't show you this one either, but they did on this one. Good job.
Yeah.
You see how they did that?
Oh, the AKA? Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
All right.
And another thing too, with that, as far as if they didn't know what that was, they would have never put that, even corresponded with to Phoebe right back. They would have never corresponded. They just been saying it's a privacy issue. We can't talk to you. Who are you?
Right. Exactly. Right. Exactly. But that's because you put X relation.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you're connecting yourself to the straw, but not being it.
Yeah, only in a POA capacity, right?
Right, right.
That's for somebody who just if that's a question in anybody's mind, they would have never talked to me, period, because we didn't write you, we wrote the straw.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're talking about pledge. So pledge. In the law of bailment, a bailment of goods to a creditor as security for some debt or engagement. A bailment or delivery of goods by a debtor to his creditor, to be kept till the debt is discharged. The necessary elements to constitute a contract, one of pledge, are possession of the pledged property must pass from the pledger to the pledgee. The legal title to the property must remain in the pledger, and the pledgee must have a lien on the property for the payment of a debt or the performance of an obligation due him by the pledger or some other person. While in a chattel mortgage, the legal title passes into the mortgagee subject to a defeasance, a bailment of personal property as security for a debt or other obligation. The specific article delivered to the creditor in security is also called a pledge or pawn. There is a clear distinction between mortgages and pledges. In a pledge, the legal title remains in the pledger. In a mortgage, it passes to the mortgagee. In a mortgage, the mortgagee does not have possession. No, sorry, apologies. In a mortgage, the mortgagee need not have possession. In a pledge, the pledgee must have possession, though it be only constructive. In a mortgage at common law, the property on non-payment of debt passes wholly to the mortgagee. In a pledge, the property is sold, and only so much of the proceeds will pay his debt passes to the pledgee. A mortgage is a conditional conveyance of property, which becomes absolute unless redeemed at a specified time. A pledge is not strictly a conveyance at all, nor need any day of redemption be appointed for it. A mortgagee can sell and deliver the thing mortgaged, subject only to the right of redemption. A pledge cannot sell and deliver his pawn until the debt is due and payment denied. Bouvier. There are two varieties of the contract of pledge known to the law of Louisiana: pawn and ante-sheriff. The former relating to chattel securities, the latter to landed securities. Pledgee. The party to whom goods are pledged or delivered in pledge. Pledgery. Suretyship, or an undertaking or answering for another. Pledges. In pleading, those persons who became sureties for the protection of the suit. Their names were anciently appended at the foot of the declaration. In time it became purely a formal letter because the plaintiff was no longer liable to be amerced for a false claim, and the fictitious persons John Doe and Richard Roe became the universal pledges, or they might be omitted altogether, or inserted at any time before judgment. They are now omitted. Pledger. The party delivering goods in pledge. The party pledging. So this is talking about what pledge are and the positions of a pledge, right? A dead pledge is everything opposite this. So when you look up pledge and pledgee, pledger, pledgery, all the things that are involved in that are correct at law.
It's like it's going, the mic is like going in and out of sound, like, I don't know what end it's on.
Right, well, these are just the definitions of the thing. But dead pledge is that there's somebody using it not how it's supposed to be used, based on people's ignorance of law. Just like you were saying earlier with the money. Like everybody's going to be saying money, right? But it's really fiat. You know? Or everybody's going to be saying black when it's really more. And get caught in that fake reality. And then start doing things in that fake reality. Go into a bank claiming that you're going to get a mortgage, right? But they don't give you anything. They just put you in a house. Like there's no transfer from them to you to get the house. You just go, yeah, I want to get a mortgage, okay. And then they take you, you go look around at some spots, and you pick one. That if you have good credit or whatever, then they give you an amount and you pay that every month, and then, you know, eventually you own the house. But the objective of the pledge is that somebody has to be giving something. Right? But the person who's supposed to be getting is giving.
The person who what?
The person who's supposed to be getting is the one that's giving. Right? Opposed to the person who's supposed to be, the person who's getting is the one that's supposed to be giving.
I.e. the banking institution.
Right.
They're supposed to be giving, but they're actually getting.
Right. So and they get twice. Because they get that's how they're able to give you the house. Because they can use the signature and discharge the debt of the abandoned property that they're selling back to you. That they're gonna say, okay, we're gonna give you a loan to pay off the house that they just gave you. Right? And then and us having to go and pay, right? Because remember, we already signed, we put the signature down, so that debt for that is supposed to be discharged, and we're just supposed to get the house. But if everybody's corporate doing that, then it's just like with the taxes. If you're corporate, then taxes apply to you. If you're not corporate, right, like Sister Phoebe, then taxes don't apply. You send them a writ, taxes don't apply to me. They say, okay, because you're not a corporation, and that's that. They go find somebody to rape because they can't rape her.
You said the debt's supposed to be discharged because you signed it?
Yeah, because of the birth certificate bond. HJR 192, James Trafficant, bankruptcy speech and all that. There's no money, so everything's supposed to be discharged. That's just how it goes. It's not nothing to go research at how do we do this or whatever. It's supposed to be that's just what it is.
Got a question since we're talking about House Joint Resolution 192.
All right.
We already know that the mortgage game is, everything is a fraud, but we know that the mortgage game is a fraud. We also know that the student loan game is a fraud too.
Right.
That is the single most thing under their legal cover of law, bankruptcy. That is the only debt that they will not discharge under their cover of law legal system in their bankruptcy courts. Any of us Moors, you know, have any success in writing WRITS to discharge their student loan debt? Because of course you can't pay a debt with debt.
Right, it's the same principles. The same principles that you use with the tax people, that you use with the mortgage people, you're going to use with the student loan people. Because remember the idea that they're going on the fact that, well, if you don't whatever, right?
Say that again, because I'm breaking up.
Hold on a sec. Yeah. Okay. The student loan itself is just like all the other stuff, right? It's the same idea, dead pledge. Give you something, you signed it, all right. They take that and sell it somewhere to whoever wants to buy it for whatever amount. they decide to sell it for, right? And that's what they that's just what they do with all those things, right? So you have a right, if they say pay, you have a right to ask for that contract to verify that their claim is legitimate.
That's where the written discovery comes in.
Right, exactly. Right? And the written discovery is just asking them some basic questions, you know, because I know that this is a debt system because of, you know, HR 192 and you guys are a corporation and everything's verified, so it's not, right? Because I know that, I know that this entity that you try to say is me through this birth certificate is a corporate interface, right? And as a natural person, I understand that it's a debt system. So anything that's owed by that corporate entity is in the negative, right? It's not in the positive. Like when they say they give you credit, they gave you negative. They didn't give you nothing of substance. When they gave student loan, they gave negative. Matter of fact, you didn't even get to touch the money. It went directly to the school.
You know, if you had, they consider a refund check, but still debt notes.
Exactly. Because it's
no lawful money in circulation anyway.
Right. So because
they're insolvent,
how can they give you anything?
Right.
How can they receive anything?
How can they receive anything too? Because the Constitution says everything should be paid, any debts has to be paid with gold and silver. And I have proof right here that you guys didn't ask me for gold and silver to pay you. You asked me for a $sign, whatever number you put there. Which is them committing fraud now, because they're supposed to be registered with the same corporation that that treaty applies to. But they don't want to follow that. They're going to tell you about some act or whatever is what the law is. The Student Loan Act is what the law says that you have to pay that back. What are you talking about, Student Loan Act? Article 6, Article 3, no state can do this. No, like, what are you guys trying to pull? And if you play the position like the, because what they would use is the credit bureau, right? They use the credit bureau to try to coerce people to pay. But if you can buy everything with fiat, right? You don't need the credit bureau.
That's true.
The credit bureau becomes
the fiat to do it.
Right. And that's why in a debt currency system, people in a debt currency system or a debt energy system or whatever fiat system, parents, grandparents would always tell their younger children, save money. Right? Their thinking is, save to accumulate it. Right? But spiritually, they were saying, there's going to be a debt currency system soon. There's going to be a system that's based on plastic cards, where you might go somewhere, they turn away the paper, they want a card. You have to swipe if you're going to pay. You're not putting down no paper. Right? And then that should creating another level of fiat. Just like Bitcoin. Right? So
that's my point. I mean,
But we have to.
I said threaten you with the credit bureaus. I mean that credit bureaus can't be served rich too.
Exactly. Exactly. Because all those debts,
serving them with rich.
all those debts that anybody has on their credit bureau that's affecting them from getting any type of whatever it is that they want from any bank, loan people, loan shark, whoever. If anybody's using their credit bureau as a reference to say we can't give you whatever it is that you're applying for, right? All those debts could get discharged. And the people who are creating those debts have a right to discharge them. Right? But we're the standard. And Moors want to play like they're top of the food chain and all that. Right? And not get the people to be active. They want people to be followers. And then people get caught up in being followers, but their situations don't change. Their situation stays the exact same because they're not active. They're taking a position of passivity with information that's supposed to be active information. So if you have, you know, the last 3 tomatoes on the planet, you're going to preserve those seeds that you got in them. You're not going to let them go bad, go to waste. And that's what we do with this information. Like how much problems people got, where simple, easiest thing you can do, just write a writ to them. And see what happens, because what you got to lose? They're raping you anyways. So if they're raping you anyways, might as well just send a writ. Like, who knows what'll happen? You know what I mean? Just like I was telling sis, like, I don't know what they're gonna do, but you gonna pay them? No. Alright, so send a writ. You know what I mean? And see what happens. You know? And if she didn't send that writ and played around with, you know, well, forget them, they're a corporation and I don't need to send them nothing because blah, 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 then you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have this experience to know that, yo, this is actually real. Like, all they do is send a writ, and then this is what happened. This is the outcome. Like, they're sending me letters upon letters, you know what I mean, congratulating me and stuff like that. When I owe them something, and that's how they're reacting just because I sent them a letter? Or is it because there's something way higher going on that those people know, because all of them belong to some type of secret order, sorority, fraternity, or whatever, right? And they already got all this information that we're just finding out right now, that, yo, everything could be discharged. And then we wonder, how come everybody else is living good or whatever? Because everything get discharged. They don't know debts. They have AAA credit. They can go anywhere, anytime, get credit, go anywhere. Anywhere in the world they can go. Make call, bam, yo, I need $1 million, cent, okay. And because everything's discharged, everybody's a millionaire. You know what I mean? It just depends on what jurisdiction you're in. You know?
Being a millionaire is outside of jurisdiction.
Yeah, because we're not dealing with fiat.
Yeah.
We're dealing with.
Fiat.
Yeah, we're dealing with knowledge. We're dealing with commerce. We're dealing with just interaction with one another. All that's worth more than any bank account with zeros or ones, sevens that you can have.
Yeah, it's time tonight.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you know, it was like, you know, even like the Super Bowl night, you know? We had class Super Bowl night and, you know, 6 people. Now, you know, everybody's on their Super Bowl, but 48-9, you call that
Going in and out.
championship game? You hear me still?
Yeah, it was going in and out.
I wonder if it's I don't know.
I mean, you said something about the Super Bowl. That's about it, though.
Okay. No, what I was saying was that people are gonna not come to class to go watch Super Bowl game, right? But the Super Bowl game was a blowout. We are supposed to be the two best teams in the NFL and it's blowout like that from kickoff.
From kickoff.
And nobody's not complaining, arguing, nothing like that. They just say, oh yeah, that team won and this team lost and that's it. You don't see they're gaming people? Gaming people. But then they got debts they don't know how to pay, kill them and their family and kill their children and shit like that because they can't pay a mortgage. When you could just write a writ. And these people stop access to Phoebe, she'll tell you. You set a writ, they leave you alone. Right? Some Moors will tell you, you send a writ and they bother you for the rest of your life. Regardless, whichever way it goes, you're still not paying. Which is what the point is, not pay them. So if they want to have back and forth letter thing, well, you have to do that. And I said, well, you have to do it. And we go back and forth for 5 years, 6 years with letters. You're not paying, so what's the issue? You know what I mean? And then that just shows that you're not really in tune with this. You know what I mean? Like people who have a concept of well, that guy he has, some level of knowledge that I don't have, so I can't really go around them because it's going to be awkward because I don't know as much, and it's good. That's not what, that's religion. We don't deal with religion over here. We deal with, meeting of the minds. We deal with us putting all our energies together and focusing on a point. So we can get some stuff done. And it's like, again, for example again, that the manifestation of that happening is because of Moorish unity. That people say that there's no unity amongst the Moors. When her outcome, for some people saying that she owes taxes, the foundation of why it went how it went is because it was unity. The governmental principles. Because Juali made each one of us a sovereign. Right? Because he brought us back our political status that allows us to get them to discharge debt. That's what they did with her stuff. They discharged the debt. That's what they did. That's how they canceled that. How much was it that they said you owe?
They was telling me I need to file.
Okay, that you need to file. Okay, right? So whatever they anticipated that they were going to get from her based on her filing, right? Because they wouldn't ask her to file if they already knew that they can get something.
And they did say though, basically that they already have a base amount that is made in the field that I'm in.
Right.
So they pretty much saying we're expecting at least this amount because we kind of know what you're supposed to be making.
Exactly. Right.
So what they was basically doing was they were trying to extort you and coerce you into contracting with them. What they were doing.
Right. And just right back to where we started from. Dead pledge. They're making a pledge on something that's not real. Right? Pledging on a fraud. And then hope that you get down with it to make the fraud legit. But if you have a certain degree of knowledge and you know what I mean, you change that around, right? As soon as you change that around, it's a whole different ballgame now. You know what I mean? It's a totally different ballgame. Because now breaking up stuff?
Whole different ballgame.
Yeah, we heard you say whole different ballgame.
Right. It's a whole different ballgame based on you are now dealing with them in propria persona. That they know that as soon as the individual comes in propria persona, everything that they're doing is void because they can't become in propria persona.
Right. There's no way possible.
Right. There's no way possible that they can be in propria persona in the Americas. So as soon as we step up to be in propria persona, they either have to be the servant and do whatever it is that we tell them, or be the servant and do whatever it is that we tell them. Because they don't have any options if we say in propria persona. Again, just even though they tried to say the straw name, aka her bay name, put it in all caps and all that, and then people would argue that, right? Well, it's all caps, they try to denationalize me. Yo, you got the letter saying that everything's done, so whatever. Who cares what they did? You know what I mean? All I know, this letter right here says that they're done with me. They don't want anything to do with me anymore. They don't even hear from me about nothing. That'll be interesting to see if you hear from them about something.
You cancel the request.
Right?
Sincerely.
Cancel. Sincerely cancel. No black guy's not getting no letter like that. No black guy's getting the letter you do right now. Demanding them. You know what I mean? Red letters and stuff like that. Right? And then want to talk about what's being a Moor gonna do for me or whatever. What are you talking about?
And then in the letter, that last letter they sent, remember I told you where they pretty much said they didn't have, they said they didn't have an oath of office. Remember I was reading.
Right. Yeah.
There's a problem.
Right. Actually, we might as well put them on blast too right now. Where's those punks at? Let's put them on blast. Let's put them on blast. Where are those guys at? Right, so people can see.
It was in the letter. So the one where they canceled the request.
No, the other guys, the ones who were trying to come at you.
Oh, the first letter I got where they. Okay, let me see.
I think which one was it? The middle letter, the letter that you got before you got the cancellation letter.
The one that was saying we will not respond. I went down some. We will not respond to further objections you make about state taxes based on constitutional, religious, or moral grounds. That
right. Yeah.
Understanding California's income tax law, you can contact a qualified professional or attorney. And then it says you may also review the truth about frivolous tax arguments, and they said where to go. Additionally, if you determine you have a file requirement, failure to file necessary returns will result in assessments and collection actions. This was still late. Right after I got this, I got that confirmation letter. And this time, it said the form letter.
Yeah.
We got somebody to put their signature on.
Oh, their signature, right. And that doesn't look like no signature. That looks like somebody just put their name down just so. It looks kind of shaky.
The form, and right next to the computer form, they signed it.
Yeah.
But right after that is when I got the confirmation letter. Then within the same week, I got the confirmation to the confirmation.
Right.
Real stupid.
Yeah. So now they made themselves a party to the fraud.
Right, exactly. Right?
And they signed it because in my writ, I addressed the fact that with them sending that form letter in the first place being mail fraud.
Right. Because what I was going to say as well is they told you that if you think you're whatever, you need to go get an attorney. Right? So now they're throwing everybody under the bus with them. Right?
Yeah.
Down with the fraud, right? Because they should have told you to get a lawyer. Right?
We're not going to respond. Basically, anything based on constitutional religious, we're not going to respond any further. And then let me see, this was dated the 30th of December. And then the confirmation letter was on the 10th of January. And then the confirmation to the confirmation was on the 16th of January.
Right, so just to put it out there, attorney. In the most general sense, this term denotes an agent or substitute, or one who is appointed and authorized. You hear me?
I hear you.
Alright. In the most general sense, this term denotes an agent or substitute, or one who is appointed and authorized to act in the place or stead of another, an agent, or one acting on behalf of another, one who is put in place, stead, and turn of another to make his matters of law, an agent employed by a party to case, to manage it for him, attorney at law, an advocate, counsel, or official agent employed in preparing, managing, and trying cases in the courts, an officer in a court of justice who is employed by a party in a cause to manage it for him. Right? So they're telling you, on top of them telling you that they're going to pursue further and all that, which is contrary to what the actual tax board sent you, right? They're telling you to go hire a bounty man. They're telling you, don't take care of this yourself. Make sure you go hire somebody who's an agent or one acting on behalf of another. Right? And they really thought that they were going to get away with that.
Let me read the part before that. It says, the Franchise Tax Board has authority to assess, enforce, and collect taxes. The California Constitution grants the California legislator its legislative authority. This includes the power to determine the amount of tax and to set up the method of tax collection. In addition, the California Constitution authorizes tax on or measured by income. The legislature established an income tax through the Revenue and Taxation Code. Revenue and Taxation Code imposes a tax on the entire income of California residents and on income derived within this state by non-residents or part residents, year residents. Then it says legislature granted Franchise Tax Board the authority to administer and enforce California's personal income tax laws. And then it says you can review, and it says where. And that was prior to the first part that I read. Right. I read that earlier.
Yeah.
So he's saying the California Constitution is greater than the supreme law of the land.
Right. Right.
And it's still saying income.
Violations upon violations.
Right, because I was going to just say that even though they keep using the word income, even as defined by their own IRS code, income is what you make as far as what you earn in fiat as a barber or a beautician is not considered income. It's not derived through the buying and selling of investments.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Right.
What you receive is pecuniary wages.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's what a corporation and wages from your labor can't be taxed. We know that.
Right.
And this is where it comes into Moors who, like yourself, have done certain things that sort of set a precedent, right, are having an impact on this system. You know, that's having an impact on the system, because they don't know how many people are going to get put on to it being that simple. After they wasted all this time, fiat or whatever, trying to make this thing happen, it's just as simple as that, sending a writ. Just challenge them, because their position is that they're void. Yes, there's risk involved, right? Yes, you can, something could happen. But stuff been happening to us in a dead status. And us not having any remedy and continuing to go on with it. And not have remedy and continuing to go on with it. That's just like a brother at my work today was telling me about somebody almost ran over his daughter in a Walmart parking lot. Right? So she jumped out the way, kicked the car. Right? You hear me? Right? So she jumped out the way, kicked the car. Right? They drove off. 20 minutes later, when they're coming out of the Walmart, the sisters, the people who are driving the truck are there, you know, and then they're back and forth about, you know, they kicked their truck and all this, right? The lady who was driving said, I wasn't paying attention. Like, police there and everything, right? I wasn't paying attention. I was on my phone reading a text from my husband, boyfriend, or whatever, that is showing me something or whatever. You know that the officer built up a case, 40 pages long case or whatever, right? Saying that the daughter's wrong and she has to pay for the damages to the person's truck. That went to court. And that was the ruling. Right? So I'm trying to explain to him, because all week we've been talking about this nationality thing, you know what I mean? Because it's an older man, you know what I mean? And he has children and he's a thinker, and you know, he just, certain stuff just being revealed right now, you know what I'm saying? So the situation with his daughters was like close to home, because you know, they never been in trouble at all with no law. One of them plays ball somewhere, you know what I mean? She was in training camp, and then they called her from training camp to come here to go to court when she almost got run over. And the lady admitted that she was driving, looking at a text and not paying attention, driving in a parking lot of a strip mall where people are back and forth across the parking lot all the time, like, and they got no tickets, no fine, no nothing. And I'm showing them that's the nigger status. Doesn't matter how good you are at ball or how much money you got or how whatever. If that paper says that your name is some European name, they're gonna rape you. Period. And sometimes you're not gonna like it, but they're gonna take it because they're content. they've been so molded into thinking that they know something when they can't even stop the tax man from going in their pockets. And they're gonna say they're knowledgeable. They have so much knowledge and they're doing debates and all that. But like, how come they're still paying the man? How is it possible that somebody with so much knowledge doesn't know how to stop paying tickets? How come we got licenses when this is our own land and we have a right to just exercise and be here and live, not to be encumbered by anybody? That's just like the brother out here who he's a European, put down his nationality card, got taxes off.
You said what? He put out his nationality card and what?
And got taxes off. No tax.
What kind of tax we talking about?
Out here we have 3 taxes. Well, we had 2 taxes: GST, goods and services tax, and provincial tax. Right? They got rid of those 2 and they incorporated them, and now they have like this HST, this different tax. And they keep creating all these different, but basically no tax. Right? Basically no tax. Why? Because he's showing allegiance to the Moroccan Empire. So he can benefit from the privileges of being ipso jure Moorish subject.
Do they pay property taxes over there?
Yeah. There's all that here. There's all that here.
Does he pay those?
Oh, does he pay those? No, he's renting or whatever.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's just like with ourselves, as you get knowledge, you apply. Because he already applied stuff prematurely and got his ass kicked already. So he knows, right? Like he studies and knows. He's been fought by family, everybody, like disowning him, pretty much, right? But he's gonna show a nationality card and get taxes off. Right? And then Negro black colored people aren't gonna get on this. But he's a European. And why is he able to do that? Because ipso jure Moorish subject. Like if you can't prove your nationality, if you just wash up on the shore and you landed up in America, and no memory or whatever, we have to say that you're Moor. Have to. You can't call you anything else. And if you choose to call yourself something else, more than likely, that's a plantation you just jumped in, called a state, or a province, or a colony, or whatever, a country. And then you get caught outside of the jurisdiction. Because this is Morocco. Regardless of whether people want to argue, fight, debate, whatever, I didn't see Hillary Clinton in the Ben Franklin room with no other flag but the Moroccan flag as far as Africa is concerned. No other flag. Why that flag? Of all the flags, whatever 50 whatever nations in Africa, right? How come she's in America and that's the flag that she decides to fly here? When the conference that she was having was about Egypt and Yemen and somewhere else, not even including Morocco. But she's sitting there with a Moroccan flag on national TV. Pictures on the internet for people to see. But they're not Moors though. And she's a European, repping the Moroccan flag to the rest of the world. That this is the Moroccan Empire. She's part of a Moroccan government is the message that she's relaying to the international community. And they back her because she's sending the message. They don't care what she looks like. Doesn't matter what she looks like. The sovereignty of the nation that they're using is Morocco. It's Morocco's sovereignty that the U.S is using to go around the world as a democracy and pillage the planet. For the popes of Rome and anybody else who's willing to be their allies. Which is more reason for us to proclaim our nationality, because these people's allies live here with us. And they have no intention of freeing us. The only way they're going to assist us is if we try to be impropria persona. Right? Just because. And it's uncomfortable because this information about us being the indigenous people, we didn't come over here on a slave ship, right? Is not information that we're supposed to know. We're not supposed to have any knowledge about Africans being in America before Europeans and all that. We're not supposed to have that information. We're supposed to be, that's supposed to be oblivious to us. We came over here on a slave ship. We're all from Africa. Lucy, everybody comes from Africa, so we're African, and that's it. And we don't know anything else. And everybody else in the world knows that, yeah, this is the Moroccan Empire. Then the Moroccan Empire fell. Then it was the Ottoman Empire. And then it was the Ottoman Turkish Empire. And then it was the Turkish Empire. And then everybody realized that, oh, that's not really what's going on. That's Britain that took over there. That's Europeans. And then you go to, oh, the people called the Spanish, and they're Europeans. And then the Portuguese and all these different little sects of European colonists, you know, scatter all over, claim whatever, and they have their base in Europe. And nobody doesn't get the picture that, you know, the Vatican represents the Roman nations, the conquering tribes of the planet. That got everything from the Moors, by the way, who brought them out of the Dark Ages. And they're using everything that the Moors taught them against the Moors that don't want to be themselves, that want to get letters from federal tax board demanding them to pay something, and they're paying when they could just send a writ and stop this beast in its tracks. Well, regardless of what they do, just the fact that you sent the writ alone, you have proof of fraud. Because it all comes down to what actions are we going to take. What actions are we going to take? If they really say, if they come on the news and say martial law tomorrow, right? And they'll put it in the news. Anybody who doesn't have a nationality, you're going in a concentration camp. Watch how much people want to get nationality cards all of a sudden. And websites will be overflowing with emails all of a sudden, and phone ringing off the hook all of a sudden, and everybody trying to now get on this arc now. When they've been had time, but they want to watch Super Bowl and stuff. Blow up game. NBA championship, blow up game. baseball team you never even heard of winning stuff, right? Because time's gonna come for those people. Like, time's gonna come when it's gonna be, we can't, there's nothing physically that we can do anymore to assist these people. We've done everything that we can do. We emancipated them. We proclamationed them. We Freedman's Bureau them. A man named Noel Joali came, told them. People who were part of organizations, you know, that had nothing to do with human rights or whatever, before they died, they got on human rights all of a sudden. International community came out, gave children rights and say that they have a nationality. They created a jurisdiction called human beings because, you know, okay, well fine, if you want to be corporate person, fine. We got human rights for you. Right? Because there's not no, human rights is a corporation. Right? Because it's really Moorish birthrights that they're using to create human rights. Right? So even the corporate people, they tell them, you have right to nationality. Still, people in North America, they don't want it. They said, okay, rights of indigenous people. They put in the freaking dictionary, copper tone people are the indigenous people of the Americas or whatever. Still don't want it. And then concentration camp time, and now they want to get on something now. And want to ask, how come you guys aren't helping? Why can't you help us now? Because we've been telling y'all, get on this.
Well, what you said about the rights of the indigenous people, people don't really, they might read or hear it, but they didn't really hear it.
Right.
Because the rights of indigenous people, are you talking about the Indians?
Exactly.
I said, but it would say rights of the Indians.
Right.
It said rights of the indigenous people. Now you have to know who you are.
Simple as that.
Because it can easily say rights of the Indians. I mean, don't have to. It said indigenous people. It's exact on what it meant.
Right. You know, but even if they say, well, that has to do with the Indians. Well, Indian come from India. India comes from indigo, which is dark. So it's still you. You know what I mean? And grandma told you that you got Indian in you. Well, great-great-grandma, yeah, she had a little Indian in her, and great-granddad's uncles, you know, cousin. Yeah,
everybody got Indian in them.
Everybody got Indian in them. Everybody. They're not even going to dispute it. You got Indian in you? Yeah, I heard that my grandma said something about that, but, you know, but I'm black. Well, but I'm from Africa. I came here on a slave ship. What are you talking about? Like, you have Indian in you. How you have Indian in you and you're saying you came over here on a slave ship? Right? And it's the people who these people are following. It's not the people. The people are sheep.
You got a lot of Moors out there. They won't get off the black wagon.
Yeah, that's like the brother today. The brother today he's saying he's Moorish American, but he's in the black fraternity. Like, what you mean a black fraternity? You just tell me you're Moorish American and you're in a black sorority.
Right.
That was founded and uses Greek mythology as its base. When the Greeks stole all that stuff from Kemet, why you just rep Kemet then? Why you gonna rep some third-hand stuff that the Greeks brought? Right? But remember, those orders, those fraternal orders or whatever, is the basis of the Boule. And if we go around and we tally all these Moors who call themselves head of whatever, I bet you they belong to some fraternity or sorority. I bet you their names in some book that they used to do the step in and all that.
Something, huh?
Yeah, all those ones. All those ones. Right? All those ones. Right? Guaranteed. Right? And then you want to talk
See
about...
all over TV.
Yeah.
Let me read something to you guys real quick.
Yeah.
I've talked about this before, like when I was with my cousin, when he was coming up, we used to have these little intellectual conversations, but just what we were just talking about tonight, how people, you know, you explain things, people put it right in front of their face and they still just, you know, go right over your head.
Right.
This is by a guy, his name is France Fanon.
Well, yeah.
He has this theory called cognitive dissonance. It says sometimes people hold a core belief that is very strong. When they are presented with evidence that works against that belief, the new evidence cannot be accepted. It would create a feeling that is very extremely uncomfortable, called cognitive dissonance. And because it is so important to protect that core belief, they will rationalize, ignore, and even deny anything that doesn't fit into that core belief.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that some shit?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I wasn't raised like that. That's not how I was brought up. Didn't teach me that in the church.
What are you talking about?
I'm just going on what you said. That's why. A lot of people, they always go back to how they was raised.
Right.
That's a core belief.
That's what I'm just adding on to what you're saying.
Okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you said how do you say people? You can't say people that don't want to hear.
Yep.
And you know, it's frustrating to me. I mean, my mother, I love her to life. You know what I mean? But when they've been indoctrinated, like all of us have been, some people are willing to open up their eyes and just be more open-minded to try to find out what the real deal is, find the truth. And some people just accept everything that they've been taught.
Yeah.
Just because that's the way they've been taught. Well, I'm going to still keep eating pig feet and ribs because that's what we was raised on. You know what I mean?
I'm standing off before in the past also.
So I understand, you know, what Drew Ali says when he says he comes for the what? Young born?
Yep.
Right? And the young.
Yep.
I fully, wholeheartedly understand it. And I just like what you just said, them Johnny-come-latelys, they're going to come, they're going to want to get on the bus. Bus full. Too late.
You know, if you want to get on the top, hang on or whatever, you know, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we can't, it's not like we're saying no, but, you know, don't be looking for a seat.
Right.
You know, but there's not even standing room only right now. Like, you're late. You know, we should have been here a minute ago before these 500 people came up in here. You know?
Yeah.
Everybody can't be saved. Maybe it's not my job to save them. Maybe it's your job to plant the seed and keep going.
Exactly.
Maybe somebody else's job to come along and water it.
And water it. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to contact the person that you gave me their contact information for about those passports that Taj was working on.
Yeah.
But I never got a response or reply.
Did I give you the number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I called and left a message probably about 3 times.
Yeah.
To let them know that I got the number, as a referral. Brother Kudjo at Royale, told me to, get a hold of you because you had some knowledge of, the passport situation. Top was working on it.
Right.
If you could call me back at your convenience, I'd appreciate it. So I didn't hear anything back on that. So you may know somebody else that may know something about it.
Right. Well, with that individual, we connected recently, so I'll deal with him and let him know to get at you. You have the same number, right?
My number?
Yeah.
It's the same.
All right, yeah. So I'll just get you. I'll get you his number. It's more than likely, you know, the whole schedule thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The whole schedule thing. You know, because Moors out there, there's Moors out there really working, putting in some time. You know what I'm saying? To making sure that information gets out to the people, because, you know, every day. You know, I remember a few years ago when Nature was talking about how hard it's getting. You know what I mean? To do the process of the nationality proclamation process. This was before sending them on notice, right? Before we realized that we were the county records. Right, when Moors were going to the county records, you know?
I didn't understand what you said.
To the county records.
Okay.
Yeah, when Moors were going to the county records and were getting blocked at the county. And not understanding why are they blocking at the county. Like, that's supposed to be the common law jurisdiction that isn't incorporated. You know what I mean? But, you know, it comes back to James Trafficant and the bankruptcy speech, that all those offices are dissolved.
Even the county.
Even the counties. The county offices. Right? And the only county that's going to exist are the ones that are being run by indigenous people.
We gotta get our shit together.
And they're gonna be running on indigenous people that are engaging with each other, right? So like with you know, like all the madness going on in Detroit, right? Like Chinese are buying up. They're doing the same thing that, you know, Moors gonna be doing. Go check the records, see if it's abandoned, go put up your sign on it. You wait 30 days. And nobody makes no claim, then it is what it is. Because, you know, like that's an example of what could happen in other states.
The brother that ostrich with the I forgot his name, his appellation, I forgot. But I read the article and it's on RV Bay. They had him, I don't know if they had arrested him, for they was calling him squatter.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Squatter?
Yeah. But they I don't know if he basically, make long story short, he didn't end up being charged.
Right.
Or they dropped the charges or something to that effect.
Right.
And then there was a prosecutor saying that he, you know, what type of message was just sending out, you know, pretty much to people. So whatever happened with him, as far as them charging him, but what happened with him and the property?
Well, more than likely the realtor people took the property back over because of the time frame that he was out of you know, the situation. But being that he paid that price doing that, right? You know, you're not gonna put your hand to get bit twice, right?
I'm thinking, okay, he pretty much got out of that situation.
Yeah.
So with him getting out of that situation, I guess depending on what they say, how you know what the situation was, wouldn't that still make it his? If they didn't find him?
Yeah. I mean, you can technically, yeah. But just like with you and the two different letters, right? There's somebody playing ball with the fairway, you know, 3 strikes or whatever, and then next guy saying, well, you know, I have to take your head off with this ball to get a strike. You know? And there's 2 things at play. And you might engage somebody on the frequency of what you're expecting to get as a response. But then you're dealing with some other people who they don't care what your position is. They'll railroad you, whether you say nationality, whether you say whatever. Because there's people that have that nature, right? Like there's people who are gonna take advantage because they can. You know. So with us dealing with them, we have to know that there's no blueprint of how it's gonna go. There's no do this and this will happen. Like that's not what's going. That's not happening in this. That's not happening. It's all trial and error. All trial and error. Some things have been tried 80 million times and failed once, and that one time was a man doing a year in prison or something. When people did it 3,000 times before that and nothing happened to them. You know what I mean? They got the cakewalk. You know? And that's not deterrent. You know, that's not push people to not, because like we were saying earlier, regardless we're getting raped. If we don't do anything, they're gonna rape us. So why don't we at least do something? At least put a foot forward in the direction of standing up for what is right and true and honest and whatever, which is our birthrights and our nationality, so we can have some remedy. Because we don't.
Talked about this.
Sorry, go ahead.
I talked about this before. Just like with the civil rights movement, you had the blacks. They were killed, beat. They had dogs sick on them. They went to the jail, all for what they believed in, though. Even though it should have went in a different direction, but still, that's what they believed in, and they were willing to die for it.
Right.
Just imagine how much farther we would be if all that energy had been put in the right direction.
Exactly.
We wouldn't be talking about. We wouldn't even be doing class right now, but
there'll be no need. There'll be absolutely no need.
Exactly. Because we have our own schools, we have our own businesses.
Yep.
We have all of our own stuff.
Right. Anybody who would have been able to gain from an inheritance, whether it's house, money, whatever, it would have went to them instead of going to the organizations that these elderly people belong to, that they're showing allegiance to this organization before their family. They even leave a 50 million for their cat or whatever, and family's destitute, doesn't have anything, right? No.
I don't know if that was you or somebody else. I was reading something that was saying at one time it was offensive to even be called black. Now you can't make them not say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You call somebody black at one time, you almost you might have to catch a beat down.
Yeah. Exactly. Because that's how passive we've become. We've become passive to the point where, you know, we're stuck in this place. You know,
it should be about time for it to change again, right? It's changed every 25 years or so. It's about time for it to change to something different.
Yeah. It's, well, I mean, you know, the change is based on the people.
Oh, I know what it is now. U.S. national.
What about
it's gonna be U.S. national.
Oh, the status?
Yeah, they'll be calling everybody. I guess maybe they're gonna call themselves U.S. nationals instead of black.
Right.
And the U.S. nationals will apply to the Europeans here too.
It's gonna apply to whoever accepted.
Exactly.
Whoever's a U.S. citizen.
Right. Whoever accepts that designation, which is a jurisdiction. That if you don't know if you don't study, you don't be going out there and talking about, I want an attorney. Because you have a big case and you don't know how to get out of this, so I'm gonna go hire an attorney. Like, he's an agent. You're done for. You're gonna do some time if you have one of those guys. You're gonna do some time. Even if you didn't do anything, you're gonna do some time. Just because. So go ahead, sis.
I would say, could you go over this the differences between United States of America, the United States Republic, those differences. Could you just talk about the differences in those?
Yeah, just read.
All right.
This is the third one, ain't it?
United States. This term has several meanings. It may be merely the name of a sovereign occupying the position analogous to that of other sovereigns in family of nations. It may designate territory over which sovereignty of the United States extends, or it may be collective name of the states which are united by and under the Constitution. All right, one more time. So the term is United States. This term has several meanings. It may be merely the name of a sovereign occupying the position analogous to that of other sovereigns in family of nations. Right? So United States could be merely the name of a sovereign. Right? It may designate territory over which sovereignty of the United States extends. United States of America. Spelled out. United States of America is the United States from South America to Central America to North America. United States Republic is the government that was set up under the Constitution for the United States of America. The United States is what we have in here, a general statement, right? U.S. is the corporation.
Say that again.
U.S. is the corporation.
Right.
And spelled out, it's Union States. Right, which represent the 13 colonies.
Which represent what? You said?
The 13 colonies. The U.S.
You said U.S. Union States is the same, represents 13 colonies, right?
Right. Represents the 13 colonies. Because remember, we the people are of the United States of America. And we set up republics, not democracies. And the democracies are known as U.S. The government is known as the United States of America. So when they see people referring to the U.S. as the American government, they know that those people put them on the wall, because you don't know what's going on. And ignorance is bliss till you get a stone in there.
The original United States of America was the original that's the proper government.
Right.
The United States of America that exists now is the corporation.
Right.
We have the United States of America, United States for America.
Right. Well, for United States for the Constitution is for the United States of America.
In the United States of America is without.
No, it's always the United States of America. The government part.
Above means without.
Well, it's when it's referred to, because it's not without in the sense of having nothing to do with. It's like how they say on the back of the dollar bill, right? How it says the Great Seal on the pyramid seal, and then the eagle says of the United States, right? The United States is a generic term. So United States of America, United States is the Americas, because all those states are united in the Americas.
I got you.
It's like with Moorish American. You're really saying Moroccan. If you really want to break it down, right?
So like Kudjo of the Ill family.
Right, Kudjo of the Ill, of the Ills. Kudjo of the Ill family. Right? Kudjo comes out of the Ill family. Right? Like that's using it in the context.
Gotcha.
Right? There was something else too. Oh, the fourth. So the Constitution for the United States of America and the Constitution of the United States of America is where that applies with the concept what you're talking about with of. Because the Constitution is for the United States, but the Constitution didn't come out of the United States. There was other parties as well that created the Constitution. Right? Which is what, because somebody had to set up the United States, the Constitution for those United States.
Which was us.
Right, yeah. Right? But remember, like, even with the 13 colonies, that applies as the United States. Because those are states that are united. It's just a generic term for states that are in unity.
Who do people think set up the Constitution? They think they set their own Constitution up.
Yeah.
You know, they think George Washington and all those guys did it. That's what they think.
Yeah. They think that
just came over here and just set their own stuff up.
Yeah, they just came over here and they just made a constitution because they wanted to create a government, and then they said, okay, yeah, we're gonna call this government that, and then they just started doing that. Right? But which comes back to the same thing about, you know, people's actions are gonna prove whether you know what's up or not. You know what I mean? That's just like people who, you know, listen to a thing and then they hear, well, you know, you get a letter and then you send a writ of discovery. Okay, bam, and then they send a writ of discovery and they get no reply and they figure, okay, well, yo, this is whatever. And then 8 months, 9 months later, they get another letter saying that, you know, hi again, we're trying to get a hold of you with regard to, you know, when I sent you guys a writ of discovery, you know, 3 months ago, and they argue that point when, what happened to the default judgment? Didn't even send that yet. It's 3 months later, you never sent default judgment yet? Oh, well, I never knew about default. What do you mean you never knew about default judgment? It's right underneath writ of discovery if you go on the website. So that means they were taking a premature approach. And they got punished for that. Because they think that, you know, we're putting them on to some information when we send writs or whatever. They already know everything. So because they already know everything, they already know what moves are supposed to take place before we make them. And they're just waiting to see if we make the right move. Let's see what he says in this writ. Is he going to say...
It's going in and out again.
Their position is to see what we're going to say and what we send them. To see if we're legitimate. Because they already know. It's not secret to them what this is. It's only secret to us. But they're very familiar with us. But if we're not exercising it, then they're going to assume that we're niggers and treat us accordingly. And they're not wrong for doing that. They're right. And they're right for continuing to do it if we continue claiming to be something that we're not.
I'm thinking when I got that first letter back, it made me giggle. Because it was, let us find out you owe something. That's what it that's what it was. I kind of laughed about it. Because it didn't say respond and then like that, but it just was like, okay, let us find out you owe something.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, one of them type of things.
Right. Which is them, you know, kind of strong arming you.
Because I could have changed my position, and then I could have contacted them or whatever, changed my position, got scared or whatever. But
that's the key. That's the key. The fear part. What happens if I send them the letter and they, who cares? You never did it before. So just do it, see what happens, and then you deal with it when you do it. You know what I mean?
Must have bridge when you get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, because there's, regardless of, even though making the statement that, you know, don't use people's examples as an example because that's their situation and whatever, there's enough situations out there with Moors sending writs out, standing up in court, doing whatever, and a benefit coming out of it, a positive coming out than a negative. You know, there's a good amount of examples of Moors taking that position, right? And when they take that position and stand up on it, and they come with documented proof that they stood up on nationality and birthrights, here's the proof, people still have stuff to say. Why they're not going to be down with it? Well, I'm showing you the thing right here that says, yeah, we just show the nationality card and then they write off the tax. No matter what it is.
You have people that want to be down. Oh, that's what I need right there. I said, okay, I said, it's the same information I've been giving you all this time to read that you didn't read. It's still there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not going anywhere either.
It's good. That's the same information I've been passing on to you.
I've been passing on to you.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not, and you know, it's not to you know, beat people up for their stupidity or ignorance or lack of, you know, seeing what's right in your face. You know what I mean? But it kind of is that, because the international community is not going to tell our people the truth that you guys are crazy people. What the hell are you talking about? Slap them a couple times, see if they wake up. Because international community has too much to lose by us waking up. You know, that's why Bro said that we have, you know, we have a covenant to the Asiatic nations that, yo, your brother's in adversity, like assist him. Obligation. You know? But if the pattern of assisting has a fee attached to it, you know, people stop asking for help. Because everybody they ask for help try to get them for 200, 500, 1,000 or whatever. You know, like boy who cried wolf. You know, you don't hear wolf so much. Nah, this guy's getting eaten by the wolf. You don't care. This guy's been crying wolf 50, 100 times. You know, you were gonna say something, sis?
No.
Yeah, man, you could bring it, yo. You could bring it.
I don't know what I was going to say.
No.
Okay, I know what I was going to say. If you have somebody that's not studying at all, it's not going to do them any good to share. Here, this is what you here, copy this.
Exactly.
It's not going to do them any good. Then you're going to be like, well, shoot, you got to be locked up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what happens.
But that's what, you know, when we first started studying Kudjo, we told us like from day one, you know, no, I didn't get you locked up. You got you locked up.
But I'm saying I'm not going to insist with it because I know you're not even studying at all.
Right.
Because that'd be him getting himself in some shit because he didn't study.
Right.
No, because he didn't stand on his own square, because he can't stand on his own square.
And since I know that,
right,
I'm just going to refer you to where you can go read.
Yeah, that's all you could do. And then if they don't want to go read, because, you know, it's like when I post a video and people are, oh, well, you know, I just wanted a small answer, and you're posting something that's 2 hours long. Like, what? You don't got to sit there and watch that. You can push play and let that play while you do whatever you're doing. You don't got to sit in front of the thing watching to see. Like, that's not what you're looking for. You go do whatever you're doing. Let the thing play. Oh, well, you know, it's 2 hours long, and, you know, where's the time that I should go to so I could get the... You know, people done lost it. You know, our people lost it. They have a entertainment system in their house before they have a library.
You said it right. They'll be dedicated to Monday Night Football.
Oh, they be dedicated.
Or Xbox.
They be dedicated to some Call of Duty. You know what I mean? They be on Call of Duty for months. And you know, I'm not fronting. I used to play my Metal Gear, you know, 3 o'clock in the morning, eyes burning, playing Metal Gear and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I know what's up, but, you know, that's a game. Like, it's just a game. That's all. Just a game. Ain't nothing more than that. 30 hours a week or whatever on a game? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. You know?
Before we wrap up here, have you had an opportunity yet to select a core group of core selection of DVDs that we can send you a donation for, so we can study from those DVDs? Because you said you had some subjects a while back that you know, you just haven't had time to kind of go through them yet.
Yeah, well, we're burning up stuff now for this book expo that's coming up.
Okay.
So as we burn stuff, I'll just put aside. Just remind me again, and I'll probably next week, Thursday or Friday, I'll send something out. So like Thursday or something, just shoot me a reminder.
Okay.
Even this weekend, even Sunday, so I can pick up some. I can pick up some that's at the temple. Cause I have some at my house, but the majority of the stuff's at the temple.
That'll be good for us, I think, because the only thing that we really have by way of studies is either independent or, you know, when we Skype with you.
Yeah.
You know, like we got a temple here that we can really.
Tuesday night, MHHS is sure helpful for me.
For real.
To get on that schedule. I told her I need to get on that schedule because I be reading and jumping on RV Bay. I'm trying to find out, have you heard anything about if they're having any classes up through RV Bay, like mock courts and. Because I know the last time I saw them, they had the itinerary or curriculum on there that they did like in 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're doing them now. I did make a call, but I just haven't received a call back yet.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find out are they still doing those classes.
No, but if you catch it on Tuesday, it's just like you got the class.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And that's archived. That's archived too on Blog Talk.
But you know one thing about live, you can always cue in.
Yeah. That's the good part about it. You know what I mean? That it's live. You know, and even that too. Just shooting an email, shooting another email to them. You know, just to set up some classes, just like this. You know what I mean? Same thing, you know, a day, a week, or whatever like that. You know, and then what you could do as well is, if you have access to a camera on your end, you can tape it and build up a little log, a little catalog of all the classes that you do. You know what I mean? Because you know there's actually some people who don't have internet, so they don't have access to YouTube and all that, and they're gonna want DVDs. You know what I mean? So and also too, shoot me an email with the mailing location to send the stuff to.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, yo, that seems like something. Huh?
I was laughing at you on, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, maybe something like that. 2 weeks ago, it was a call. And he said, "You want to answer that question?" He was like, "No, I'm already tired from the last question."
I remember that night too, because I was tired that night, yo. I was tired that night.
Tired from the last question.
Yeah, I had to step back that night. I had to step back that night. Heated. Yeah.
Now it's to the point where you have to call when it starts, because you wait too long, you're not going to be able to get through the lines.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I'm saying it's cool. You can catch it online, cut off, so you can still catch it later. It cut off at 11:30.
Yeah.
So if the class go to 12, after 12, you got to wait till they archive it, well, next day or something, and
Yeah.
the rest of it.
Yeah.
So that's the time in early.
Yeah.
When it starts, be on there.
Because there was a couple of times that we didn't get off the phone till like 12:30 and shit like that. I'm like, what? Yeah, this is what's going on after hours, yo? You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, I thought this is done at 11:30. They're like, nah, yo, we just go until the phone cuts off. I'm like, holy. That's like a work day. You know what I mean?
Part-time job? full-time job.
Yo, straight. That's a part-time job right there.
See? It's full-time, not stone.
Yeah, for real. For real.
It's full-time, exactly. I think I'm going to start writing a written now. Even though I haven't had any real direct correspondence, but I have had direct correspondence via email or student loan tip. And you know, that's like a thorn in everybody's side. You know, I'm tired of playing that game with them, so I'm like, yeah, with it. Just want to go on and start doing my research and hit them.
You know, I thought about, remember I told you about the incident at the credit union? You know how, I think I told you, I'm not sure. With the thumbprint thing.
Yeah.
They went to just so somebody might be listening. So, I didn't have an account there, but somebody wrote me a check at the credit union. I didn't have an account there. So I see her pulling out the ink pad, and I said, is that an ink pad? She said, I said, oh, I hope that's not for my thumbprint. She said, yes. I said, well, can you get somebody over here because I'm not willing to give you my thumbprint.
Yes.
So she went and got the manager came over, and she told the manager what I said, and she said, "Is there a reason why you don't want to give me a thumbprint?" I said, "Yes, because it violates my First and Fourth Amendment rights. It's against my religion, and it's my personal property, and I don't wish to give you my personal property." And she didn't say it. She didn't say a word. She signed it, gave it back to the teller, and they gave me a fiat. That was it.
Yes. Right.
But if you don't know, you're under the impression that you have to do it.
Exactly. And then that's based on the training. That's based on the indoctrination to not challenge authority. But we thought it was being used. We thought it was being used to keep us from challenging God, but it was really being used to keep us from challenging them. You know, like when you have the overseer, when you have an intelligent person asking questions in Sunday school, at Bible study or whatever. Right? And you shouldn't be asking that question because God's going to punish you and, you're going to have nightmares because you asked that question or whatever.
You can't question.
Yeah, you can't question God. That was to get us to not question them when they start doing this madness that they're doing. Just send you a letter in the mail, you're going in your pockets.
And see that thumbprint, we talked about that before too, that thumbprint is that seal for them, that signature and that thumbprint.
Exactly.
Is monetize that fiat for them. I mean, even though they used to do this, that thumbprint, that signature is going out there in that bond market.
Exactly.
And I said, you know what? With them doing it, I was thinking maybe I should write a writ again on the credit union taking people's thumbprint.
Yeah, I mean, you might see things change. You might go there and just.
I've had it happen. I didn't feel it was right, but I just didn't know. I mean, I didn't know how you supposed to. If you don't know, you think how you challenge it if you don't even know. My thumbprint? Well, I gotta give you my thumbprint. Well, this is our, this
policy
is our
or whatever, yeah.
Policy don't supersede.
Then, but if you don't know anybody, you're thinking, damn, I want to get this money.
Yep.
So I gotta get my thumbprint. I gotta get this money. So there you go. You want the left or the right?
Yeah, you know what I mean. And then the machine comes up and cuts your thumb off, and then you're complaining about where's my thumb.
But I knew they was gonna do it, but I was already. I said, "Yep, I'm not today. It's not gonna happen."
So you were prepped. You got the prep. For real.
I asked the questions that I had. I just need to get back on the bandwagon as far as doing the calls.
Yeah, man, and just remind me again with those DVDs, because I really forgot about that, to be honest with you.
So, yeah, no problem. I'll remind you about that.
Remind me about that, and I will definitely get some stuff out to you. That's no problem, That's no problem.
I got you. We got you on the donation.
Yeah.
And on the passport, I'll just send you a text on that too, just as a reminder.
Right.
Because that means if I have to give up the one that I got, which I would gladly do in order to get one that's more, suited to, our nationality.
Right.
Can lace it back. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, and keep in mind too that it's taking the, like I'm not there yet to go take that chance yet, but the whole traveling and borders and all that, there's Moors that's using nationality cards cross borders.
Really?
Yeah. No passport, nothing like that. You're just standing up on the fact that that's your passport.
I'm one of those brothers to try.
No different than the brothers with the taxes or whatever, low level. You know what I mean? You say, oh, there's tax on that. Oh well, here's my tax, non-obligee card or whatever. Just write that off and see what they do.
Doing that. There's ain't no more taxes.
Exactly.
Keep everything down before we can.
Yeah.
So.
Because I did see that other video also. But what I saw, with the receipt, it says native sale.
Right.
I saw.
Yeah.
With that number on there.
Right.
And that number, what he said, they put that number in and it registered in.
Yeah. Yeah. It registered in.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's out here, cause that number is the United States code number. That's not out here number. That's CMA filed in the Library of Congress number. So if it's working here, then there must be something to that number. There must be something to that number.
I heard Taj talk about that. It's been a while ago, but it didn't click in until I saw that video. Because he was showing something that he used.
Right.
I think he like he was talking about. He said like he used Home Depot for example.
Yeah.
And he was talking about that same number.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you can do that, right? If you can do that, then you don't need those people who's trying to sell you a package to tell you that's how you do that. Right? If I can just go put down my nationality card and get taxes off, then I don't need these guys who say I have to send birth certificates to this guy and send social number to this guy, and then they're gonna file the thing so that I can get the credits back for whatever. You don't need none of that. You just use the 222141 as your exemption number for whatever you're trying to exempt yourself from. You know what I mean? But it comes back again to you're not gonna do stuff premature. You're not gonna do stuff without knowledge. You're not just gonna put that number down on a paper, but you don't know what the number is. Or when asked about it, you're part-timing to tell. Because of lack of knowledge, or not fully getting the perspective, but knowing that there's a benefit in just saying this number out. You just go outside and say 222141 and gold starts falling out the sky. You know what I mean? People be going crazy, but
somebody making change out of your mind.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can show you how to not have to pay sales tax.
But you don't want to be.
I can show you for $1,500.
Right? But
cashing you out.
At the same time, if it's free, you don't want to be bending down picking up, gold coins when gold bars are falling next. Because one of those hit you in the head, you wouldn't have no chance to spend no money. That's falling from the sky. So, slow down. You know what I mean? And we gotta do our studying.
Due diligence.
So we know, we're not believing that 222141 is the number to use to be not obligated to taxes. We know that's what it is. How do you know that? Because Here's the receipt right here. That's all I know.
He showed his nationality card. Okay, you have the number. Bam, there it is. Okay, no problem.
Simple, and that's how easy it's supposed to be. No hassles, no, you know, well, call manager and all that. Yo, just put in the number, like.
And then the receipt say native sale tax.
Yeah.
Native sale, that's what it said, right?
Native sale, yeah. Crazy. But yeah, Moors. So we're straight?
Yeah, we're straight for the night, I guess.
Yeah, yo, so you know we'll keep the word out there, you know, that every other Friday. So if people have questions or whatever, they can send them. And you know, that's all we can do. You know what I mean? The ark's open for now, but don't come banging, cause the angel took the key.
Life jackets only work for so long.
For real, and that water ain't going nowhere either. So let's just close out with the prayer and end this good holy day service. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Lord, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. Through His holy prophet. Noble Juali. Islam.
Peace, praise. That's the first confirmation letter. Then the confirmation letter to the confirmation letter is just saying that our records show we issued you a tax. We issued you a request for tax return, and it has a date. It said our records also indicate the request was canceled based on the information you provided and confirmation letter dated, you know, blah blah blah. It says that is basically advising that the franchise tax board will take no further action at this time. I have enclosed a copy of the confirmation letter for your convenience. Anyway, only thing I provided them was my nationality and law. Nothing else was needed to be provided. I didn't make any contracts with them.
No.
They don't have jurisdiction in the first place, huh?
No. UCC one, nothing like that.
No packages or nothing like that. I didn't have to pay $1,000 to anybody. You know, it was all free.
It wasn't free.
It didn't cost any fee.
It didn't cost any fee.
Yeah.
Just put your energy.
Right.
I didn't have to pole dance with nobody.
They might enjoy that, sis.
That's good. It's love. So that's what it's about right there. You know what I mean?
That's it.
And how? Right. Exactly. Confirmation letter. You know?
I was gonna when I figure out how to scan it, I'm gonna scan it for you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've not done it before. I haven't actually
done that before.
Well, don't you get it?
Good job.
Yeah. That's what it's about.
And also, I made sure when I was writing it, I made sure that I was my energy was good.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it while I was irritated or anything like that. If I felt a little irritation or whatever, you know, because we all go through stuff or whatever.
Right.
I made sure I didn't do anything with my writ when I was feeling like that.
Right.
I was conscious not to do that.
That's good.
That's the science.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yep, that's what all the people that say, Bro Kudjo don't do nothing for anybody. Yep. We Kudjo students, products of the Kudjo.
It's love. Love.
Free.
Yeah, and it wasn't your mic, it was your speaker that turned on a bit. Because I'm hearing myself. Now turn your speaker down. Yeah.
Is that any better?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all free.
For real. Right, so us exercising our birthrights is supposed to be that easy regardless of what we're dealing with. Like, it's supposed to be simple just like that. Send them the stuff, they don't reply, send them the stuff, they send you something saying we're not pursuing anything further, and then that's that, and you go about your business. Right?
Did you try your volume also?
Down? What the procedure, process, or whatever was, and then read the letter they sent you. Not the other guys. Not the guys who are trying to extort, just the official letter.
The last one, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, well, they already sent me a confirmation letter. So I just started with they were, I guess, trying to make an attempt to extort, telling me I had a request for me to file taxes. And they said, let me see the language that's on it. Because it says that I must file, then it's saying it also, but it says it's a request.
Right.
I'm here just explaining this date. It's a request for tax return, and then it tells me what day I must respond by.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so from there, I did the written discovery. Looked at a couple of examples, and you sent me some. I went over there. I went to RV Day Publications, and just kind of give an example of the setup of the whole thing, and then on top of that, from some things that I already read, because I couldn't just copy word for word, because it had to still apply to my situation.
Right.
So I had to base it on some things I had studied also. So that's how I formulated the written discovery.
Okay.
And then from there, of course, they didn't respond. I did the certified mail. So we can have a track, and then I did I put 7 different people on notice, including the international community, seeing that we are international. This is an international issue. Put them on notice just in case.
Right.
United Nations.
Did you do that via email?
No, all through the postal service.
Okay.
And then I just did all certified, and with the United Nations, I had to do it registered.
Right.
Because they don't do certified.
They don't do certified, right.
So anyway, I did that. They didn't respond. So next, I had to do the notice of default judgment. I did the notice of default judgment. And then I got. After the fact, probably, let me see, the deadline was, if I'm not mistaken, it was, let me see. That was 10 days from the receipt of that letter. Anyway, they were way past the deadline, put it like that. And that's when I started getting stuff in the mail. And make a long story short, with that mail thing, I got a confirmation letter. It says confirmation letter, and it says, thank you for responding to our request that you filed a 2009 California tax return. Based on the information you provided, we will take no further action at this time. However, if you made any estimated tax payments or had any state income tax withheld, you must file a return to claim.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
My salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
To His holy prophet.
To His holy prophet.
No withdrawal.
No withdrawal.
Islam.
Islam.
What's your question?
I'm also trying to move over, so
You can ask your first question.
I'm just happy this thing is broken now.
I'm hearing y'all. Yeah, man. Oh, one thing we could touch on this too. The writs of discovery, and based on your walking the tightrope. Yeah, your walk since you walk the tightrope. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Talk about what, brother?
With sister's letter that she got. Yeah.
Yeah, she showed me.
They showed me, sent me another one,
No.
confirming the confirmation. This is all the info they sent me back that I sent them.
Right.
They send me copies of everything.
Okay.
And then everything I sent them, they send a copy of it, even copied the envelope.
So just outline what you sent so we can put everything on the record to put this up.
This is also how
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so they sent you a copy of the envelope that you sent to them. The envelope that you sent to them.
Yeah, what I sent to them, they sent me a copy of everything, including the outside of the envelope. So I was like, it's a good thing I set it up right, because they're making copies of that too. Right.
Okay, so just outline what you sent and you know what.
Yeah, I don't know if it's okay on your end, it's fine over here.
Yeah, it's alright. Yeah. You know. So let's just do a basic just so that
and when you can fit in a dead pledge, talk about it. Go over that a little bit.
Okay.
That's not just for mortgages. Dead pledge as far as sign stuff. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just for mortgages. I'm talking about just period.
Yeah.
Silence.
Yep. Oh, I didn't show you this one either, but they did on this one. Kudjo.
Yeah.
You see how they did that?
Oh, the AKA? Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
All right.
And another thing too, with that, as far as if they didn't know what that was, they would have never put that, even corresponded with to Phoebe, right? They would have never corresponded. They just been saying it's a privacy issue. We can't talk to you. Who are you?
Right. Exactly. Right. Exactly. But that's because you put X relation.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you're connecting yourself to the straw, but not being it.
Yeah, only in a POA capacity, right?
Right, right.
That's for somebody who you know, just if that's a question in anybody's mind, they would have never talked to me, period, because we didn't write you, we wrote the straw.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're talking about pledge. So pledge. In the law of bailment, a bailment of goods to a creditor as security for some debt or engagement. A bailment or delivery of goods by a debtor to his creditor to be kept till the debt is discharged. The necessary elements to constitute a contract, one of pledge, are possession of the pledged property must pass from the pledger to the pledgee. The legal title to the property must remain in the pledger, and the pledgee must have a lien on the property for the payment of a debt or the performance of an obligation due him by the pledger or some other person. While in a chattel mortgage, the legal title passes into the mortgagee subject to a defeasance. A bailment of personal property as security for a debt or other obligation. The specific article delivered to the creditor in security is also called a pledge or pawn. There is a clear distinction between mortgages and pledges. In a pledge, the legal title remains in the pledger. In a mortgage, it passes to the mortgagee. In a mortgage, the mortgagee does not have possession. No, sorry, apologies. In a mortgage, the mortgagee need not have possession. In a pledge, the pledgee must have possession, though it be only constructive. In a mortgage at common law, the property on non-payment of debt passes wholly to the mortgagee. In a pledge, the property is sold, and only so much of the proceeds will pay his debt passes to the pledgee. A mortgage is a conditional conveyance of property, which becomes absolute unless redeemed at a specified time. A pledge is not strictly a conveyance at all, nor need any day of redemption be appointed for it. A mortgagee can sell and deliver the thing mortgaged, subject only to the right of redemption. A pledge cannot sell and deliver his pawn until the debt is due and payment denied. Bouvier. There are two varieties of the contract of pledge known to the law of Louisiana: pawn and ante-sheriff. The former relating to chattel securities, the latter to landed securities. Pledgee. The party to whom goods are pledged or delivered in pledge. Pledgery, suretyship, or an undertaking or answering for another. Pledges, in pleading, those persons who became sureties for the protection of the suit. Their names were anciently appended at the foot of the declaration. In time it became purely a formal letter because the plaintiff was no longer liable to be amerced for a false claim, and the fictitious persons John Doe and Richard Roe became the universal pledges, or they might be omitted altogether, or inserted at any time before judgment. They are now omitted. Pledger, the party delivering goods in pledge, the party pledging. So this is talking about what pledge are and the positions of a pledge, right? A dead pledge is everything opposite this. So when you look up pledge and pledgee, pledger, pledgery, all the things that are involved in that are correct at law.
It's like it's going, the mic is like going in and out of sound, like, I don't know what end it's on.
Right, well, these are just the definitions of the thing. But dead pledge is that there's somebody using it not how it's supposed to be used, based on people's ignorance of law. Just like you were saying earlier with the money. Like everybody's going to be saying money, right? But it's really fiat. You know, or everybody's going to